it's Cadma. Once again, so I decided that also for this, I'm also going to be doing story time with Cadma. The main reason for that is because I just simply wanted to share little small excerpts about my life, and I wanted the first one to be what influenced me the most growing up as a kid, and pretty much created all of this, that kind of thing. So a lot of the times that I was growing up, I was heavily bullied. I grew up in the ghetto. So if that wasn't obvious, I could be ghetto. Anyways, basically in my neighborhood, and a lot of those who live in the same kind of neighborhoods that I grew up in, New York City was not always friendly. We weren't hipster crazy then. So when you're growing up in certain rough areas, if you stand out, that is not a good thing. So when I say stand out, my mother was very, very strict when it came to speaking properly in public. I was only allowed to speak the way I basically was, like I read a book. That's basically how I was supposed to speak. Slang was not allowed in the house, ever. She didn't even want to catch me saying that to my friends. I mean, not that I had any friends growing up, but, she didn't even want it then. So basically, when I was walking around my neighborhood, I would speak what I thought was normal to me, but in my kind of neighborhood, what ends up happening is that you end up being labeled as a wannabe white girl. And to me, that never made any sense, because I was like, I don't understand, how do white girls talk? Like I understood regions of America having certain dialects, because technically Americans, we do have dialects. So I couldn't really comprehend. To me, I just couldn't fathom the entire concept at all. And so they were constantly teasing me about that, like, oh, you talk funny, Meanwhile, I'm like, well, you talk stupid. I'm with that, but so between that and then the fact I was the Asian kid in my school, that was me. So I was constantly met with ching chong, and they would put like the paper, I'm not kidding, they would put the paper hats, they'd come over and they'd do the whole thing, and I used to get so pissed off. And because I was kind of a little hothead, the problem with being the smart kid of the classroom means I figure out other ways to get back at you. If they're ever watching this, they're going to be like, that little, and they'll probably put that part together, but that's okay, whatever, I don't really care. But I would go home so angry, so upset. And I came home one day crying to my mom one day, and I was like, I don't understand. Like, what's the big whoop? So what? What? Because there's this Asianness. Like, there's gonna be like, oh, like, really? That's, you got nothing else better to do in class? So she goes, baby, Chinese people have beautiful eyes. And I was like, yeah, that's great. Can I put them on layaway at some point? Like, I'll get them when I want to look at. Not now. So, I kept telling her, I was like, I don't want them. I was like, this is, I just want to be normal. And, at the time I had no clue what I was saying, because I would never be normal. I'm crazy. I just go normal from time to time. So, what ended up happening is that my mom looked at me. She very carefully asked me, why do you care? And I couldn't come up with an answer. I mean, I really, really thought about this. I mean, I wasn't just like your typical 5-year-old. I mean, I was a 5-year-old trying to like sell candy and sell baked goods in school so I could make a profit and put it inside of my bank account. I wasn't your average 5-year-old. So when my mother said that to me, I really sat there and thought about it. The problem was I couldn't come up with an answer. I could not come up with an answer that was logical, that made sense to why I would care about what they thought about me. And then I started to realize something. It actually doesn't matter what the next person thinks of me. I'm not harming them. I'm not harming you. I'm not harming him. I'm not doing anything to anyone. I am just simply existing. I am being me. I am existing because I was brought into this world. You had no partake in that. And I love my parents and all, but even if they did, even with them, I kind of just took this distance. Like, it doesn't matter what you think either. I respect what they think. See, there's a difference between caring what someone thinks and respecting it. Those are two different things, and sometimes people tend to get them all crossed over and they start looking like this, but the truth is, I still couldn't find an answer, and still to this day, 20 something years later, I can't find an answer. I've never been able to find an answer. And personally, I think everyone should sort of like, kind of adopt to it. I think you should be respectful. I don't mean like, oh, I don't care what you think, getting in people's faces and doing whatever you want. It's not about that. It's about taking the simple concept of being respectful of another person. Like, my mom and I will disagree in a lot of things. I respect what she says. I will listen to what she says, but I'm not going to take it to heart. My father, same thing. My grandmother, same thing. My best friend, same thing. And that very, very one moment in time, it's so instilled in my memory. If I died tomorrow, that's probably going to be the very last thing that I remember. Is her asking me, why do you care? And that was pretty much what set everything off. Then I just started branching out to other things, and I pretty much just became me being me. And I always kind of promote that for others. Like, if you don't like someone, that's fine. You don't have to bother them. I come across too many people who feel like they can't be themselves, and it's mostly because so-and-so don't like them. Forget so-and-so. Is you being you somehow affecting them? Because if so, that sounds like a personal issue if you ask me. And a lot of the times what ends up happening is that as I've gotten older, a bunch of my friends now, or for the like 2 or 3 that I do have, they'll tell me, oh my god, like you're so brave. How do you just get up there and do that, like, and not, and like in front of people, like me doing recitals, me doing acting, me doing this YouTube show. They look at me and go, aren't you like scared of like what people are gonna say? And I'm like, what could they possibly basically say about me? I don't care. I really don't care, because what I am doing is that I feel like expressing myself. I feel like being quirky. I am a freaking weirdo with the camera who loves goofing off and acting all, that kind of thing. That's me. If that is affecting you, they don't have to watch it. I'm not obligating you to do anything. And then my friends, they look at me like, you're so courageous. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not courageous, not the slightest bit. I just simply don't care. And I think it's something that, I think some people should learn to adopt, especially if you're being bullied and at some point you realize they don't really care. Hold on, I'm sorry, I had to censor myself there for a minute. Hi, Mom. And because of that, and between that and all the tribulation that I personally experienced myself, I've built up such a tough skin that I admit sometimes I can be a little too honest. But the point is, you do you. You be you. If what you were doing makes you happy, makes you feel good, makes you feel connected to God, makes you feel connected to the earth, whatever it is that makes you feel good, so long as you are not hurting another individual, kind of think that's fair. Like, I don't know, tormenting someone, I kind of feel like, I don't know, I just don't feel like that's, it has to be consensual. Just saying, guys. Don't be mean to someone because it makes you feel good. Don't be a jerk to someone. Don't try to put someone else down because it makes you feel good, because deep down you really don't feel that good about yourself. Instead of doing that, you should try to be you. Do things that make you happy, and try not to think so much about what the next person thinks and what the next person says about you. I'm serious. Just dust that right off. You ain't got to think about it. But that's my moment. Story time with Cadma. But yeah, so I wanted to share that moment, and that was a very intense conversation that my mom probably did not expect. And if she's watching this, like I know she is, she's probably going to be sitting there like, you were listening to me? Yeah, I listened to every last one of you. That doesn't mean I wasn't going to try to break a rule or not. I'm just saying, love you. Bye. Why do I keep forgetting this part? If you have a moment that you want to share with me, I'm more than willing. I'd love to tell your stories too, by the way. I keep always forgetting the ending part where I say this stuff, and because I say it in my head, and I'm like, yeah, I said it, and then I watch the video footage, and then I didn't do it. But anyway, make sure you click here. Yeah, clicky. Click on it, subscribe, share your stories, talk to me about my stories. Feel free to leave comeback. I'm sorry, I'm gonna blame my creative brain for making up words. Sounds excusable. Anyways, so click over here. Be sure to check here to subscribe, and also if you want to check out the previous episode, you click up here, and it'll be perfectly fine. Thank you! Nothing but love for you, nothing but love.